From inflation to freedom of speech. That's interesting. Pierre Poilievre was quoted the other day as saying, free speech isn't free unless people are allowed to disagree. You'd think you wouldn't have to say such a thing when it comes to the free speech file, but I think we have to continually remind the left about that. In any event, we do have a video of Mr. Poilievre saying this and some other stuff. Let's check that out.
So the Ontario College of Psychologists has told Jordan Peterson that he either undergo retraining for social media etiquette or lose his license to practice as a clinical psychologist. This follows a number of complaints by people who don't like his online posts, one of which is a retweet of something I posted, another is a criticism of Justin Trudeau. Now, it should go without saying that in a free country, professionals should not lose their jobs and licenses because they express a political opinion contrary to the licensing body that's mandated by the government. But, of course, in saying this, my liberal critics in the media will, of course, say, well, Poilievre agrees with freedom of speech for someone like Dr. Peterson, therefore he must endorse everything Dr. Peterson has ever said. Well, of course not. I don't endorse 100% of everything anyone has ever said. There's no two people in the world who agree 100% of the time on 100% of things. And so I'm sure there is something he's posted that I do object to, but that is not the point, because freedom of speech only matters when you disagree. I mean, if we all agreed, we wouldn't need freedom of speech because no one has ever tried to censor someone for saying something that they agree with. It is only when there is a disagreement that it matters. And that's what distinguishes Canada, a free country, from dictatorships. Dictators don't censor things their citizens say that the dictator agrees with, only things they disagree with. Here in Canada, though, unfortunately, through the cancel culture and the woke movement we've seen at university campuses, in the media, and now increasingly in big, powerful corporations, and most recently with a professional licensing body, we're seeing the idea that someone can lose their job, their status, their ability to study because they express something that is contrary to the government line. Now, I don't believe that is the Canada we want. We have Section 2B of the Charter of Rights and Freedoms. To be or not to be, that is the question. And the answer is that, as Voltaire has been quoted as saying, I may not agree with what you say, but I will defend to my death your right to say it.
Well, Drea, I think Pierre Poilievre just about nailed it there. If people are unfamiliar with this story, one of the great minds of society today, and that is Dr. Jordan Peterson, he's being called upon the carpet by the Ontario School of Psychologists for complaints. And the complaints, this is crucial to this story. It's not from a current or former patient. It's not regarding any kind of inappropriate behavior, sexual misconduct, etc., the kind of complaint you would expect a doctor or a psychologist or a psychiatrist to be investigated for, or a lawyer for that matter. These are complaints by people in the social media universe, in the Twitterverse, that have objected to his tweets, to his comments. There was a funny one, quite frankly, where someone was fretting about world overpopulation, and Jordan Peterson said words to the effect of, you're free to leave anytime. I probably haven't got that quote verbatim. But the thing is, Drea, for just having political wrong thought, for just speaking wrongly about politics, as Mr. Poilievre just said in that video, for retweeting some of his tweets while criticizing Justin Trudeau and Justin Trudeau's allies, he is supposed to be called upon the carpet of his Association of Ontario Psychologists, and I mean, it sounds Orwellian, be reprogrammed, be corrected in his political behavior. This is outrageous, Drea. This is beyond the pale. I would even argue this is not legal for his governing body to do this to him. What do you have to say?
Well, first of all, you're right. That everything that Pierre said is right on the money. I mean, just so much logic and a brisk walk. It's so casual. That's what I like about it. It doesn't look scripted like Dr. Tam's COVID Santa message. But it's not that surprising, one, because it's Canada, unfortunately, but two, because it is a regulatory body. And we have seen this same type of behavior with the physicians who have been speaking out their medical opinions that, don't line up with COVID. So I wasn't exactly surprised to see, that comments that he said on Twitter were used against them, because that's something we've seen over and over, at least in the COVID stories that I've studied. But it's interesting also that they are going after Jordan Peterson. I mean, when they came after him before, not the college specifically, but just in general, people for his political opinions or what have you, it didn't end well, did it?
No.
mean, he just got to a way broader audience. I think he's up for the fight, and this isn't going to end well this time, at least for the ones who want to censor his opinion, which is, I don't agree with everything that he says, but 9 times out of 10 or more, I would say it's just complete, straightforward logic. That's all it is.
It is astonishing to me. This is next level cancel culture wokeness to me, Drea. And it shows you how in just a little over a generation, everything has changed. I mean, I go back to when I was in university at Ryerson, or whatever the hell they call it now. There's an example of an institution that got canceled. But I think back to those days, Dre, and you could have debates on campus.
Yeah.
The most contentious issues imaginable: gun control, capital punishment, abortion. And then after the debate wrapped, you could go to the campus pub, share a beer, and go on with your lives with the person that you were debating. Now there's some rot, some disease that set in, that if you do not agree with me 100%, your voice will be silenced. You will be canceled. Oh, and by the way, Drea, canceled as in forever. You never get out of that penalty box, even for the most heinous crime imaginable. First-degree murder. In Canada, typically, if you've been a good boy or good girl behind prison bars, you're out in 25 years. You've paid your debt to society. You get a second chance. But when it comes to a thought crime in Canada, no. You are forever eradicated. You are canceled outright. And they're trying to do this to someone who is not in any respect dangerous. Quite the contrary. He's helped so many people get on with their lives. Yeah. And again, the reason is we don't agree with your politics. Again, I don't see how this can even be legal. And you bet your boots this will be challenged in a court of law.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'm glad that we are helping, sort of walk the path for anybody who wants to challenge it themselves in just a matter of seconds. We have an very easy steps that you can do. I think it's at savepeterson.com or .ca.